Psychosis, the new album by Cavalera Conspiracy. Here with Max on the tour bus. So, how's it been going, man? The tour, all good?
Yeah.
How far into it are you?
This is the fourth show
Oh yes,
of this part of the tour, which is the final return to roots. You know, we're done now with it. Next year's all, Psychosis and Soulfly.
Nice.
Yeah, so it should be good.
And you were doing the Nail Bomb album in America. How did that go?
Yeah, it was cool. We did like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Very underground, because Nail Bomb was more underground. So we did more of an underground package with like Cannabis Corpse and Noisem, and it was fun. That's an extremely fun record.
Yeah, that's an awesome record. I was hoping you were going to do that in Europe, but there are plans to do that anywhere else?
Maybe next year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but there's been some talk of some people that some festivals want it, so I think next year we can maybe bring it here, and we also have to tour for Psychosis.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but I think we'll be able to do it next year. I think it'll be great.
Cool, man. And talk about the recording of this album. Was it any different to other albums you've done, or pretty much the same formula? Did you do it all in one go? Or?
Yeah, no, actually that was kind of cool. We made the music first, and then I went on tour again for Return to Roots. And so I had the iPod with the songs and no vocals, so I had time to think about the vocal parts. So that was cool. Like that was something we haven't really quite done before. We normally just go all together, do all at once. The process was pretty much, it was similar to what everything we do. It starts with the riffs. I write the riffs at home, and I turn the riffs into songs in the studio. The only difference, we spend a little bit more time on the songs on this record, in parts, special parts, like really building a good songwriting, like a strong songwriting. So some songs have 6, 8, 10 different riffs and changes on it, and that takes time. So in some songs we spend like a couple of days only in one song, and that's cool. I think that's a cool way to do it, because then you get a record that's a little more deeper. It's like you gotta hear a couple more times to get into it. It's not just like the first time hearing that's cool. The more you hear, the more you notice something a little bit different here and there,
Yeah, you can refine the songs, because sometimes if you
more
just
parts,
if you just write in the studio, then you hear it a few months later and think, we could have changed that.
We could have done more, but so the goal was it's a mix. It's a real death metal, thrash metal mix album. Most of the stuff, except for Psychosis, the title track, which is instrumental, which is a bit like tribal prog rock, and Hellfire, which is more like Nail Bomb, Godflesh, which also has Justin from Godflesh on it. Everything else is very straightforward, death thrash. There's one song, Judas Pariah, that's a bit more black metal, and that was really fun, messing out in that area. I don't do much with that stuff, but that song came out really good. I kind of want to do more of that, because it was really fun, and it was a blast making that song. But the bulk of the record is really that, kind of like what a lot of people like about me and Igor is the era of Beneath the Remains, Arise,
Schizophrenia, like Terror Tactics.
Exactly, yeah.
The vocal pattern in that kind of reminded me of not certain songs from Schizophrenia, but just that kind of delivery.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool, because that's my favorite. Those three records.
Right.
Definitely my favorite era.
The producer was really into the whole catalog of me and Igor, but specific those albums he liked it a lot. So he was like going for a kind of delivering vocals that'll be more towards those records than the newer stuff I done. And yeah, for me it was fun. It was like, sure, we can try to recreate some of the magic, but I think the album has a sound of right now, which I think is cool.
It still sounds modern.
Right, so it's got noise and stuff, elements like that. There's a lot of noise between every song. There's no silence,
And does Igor do a lot of that stuff?
Igor did a little bit. Arthur did some. Also Prurian, which is another artist from the US, did some stuff. it was a good team. I think we had Arthur producing, we had Joe from Toxic Holocaust mastering. It was good teamwork. Like we all together, and it was fun, man. It was fun making this record. I had a lot of fun creating the riffs, and it's kind of cool to kind of like embrace your past to go to the future, so we kind of embrace those old records and the feeling of nostalgic of those records gave, and create something on top of it. I think it's similar, maybe a little bit of what like Carcass did with Surgic Steel, because it reminds of like earlier Carcass, and it's cool when you can do it and it works. When you do it right, like Psychosis or like Surgic Steel, it feels good. You're inspired by the past, but it's going to the future.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was thinking when I heard it. It reminds you of parts of A Rise of Beneath the Remains, but it's modern. It sounds fresh. It doesn't sound
good.
stale.
It's got a good
like,
production.
yeah.
Arthur is a good producer, and the sound is really kick-ass. I like the sound. The drum sounds great.
Yeah.
I like the guitar sound, and we're not really. We asked a little bit less of Mark Rizzo, but it was more like you do less, but you do more with less.
And he can put more time into the solos.
So it was like he doesn't have to do like long solos, but when he does, it's really cool. I liked especially Spectral War, the end of Spectral War. I think it was a great solo he did, and Insane. I think there's a really cool one, and also on Chrome. The beginning of Chrome sounds like a little bit later death kind of stuff. It was all done in Arizona where I live, and
Did you
it was
record it
underground.
there
I did a track for Ice-T there for Body Count.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask about the engineer, John Riano or something.
Yeah.
He worked on the Body Count album as well.
Right.
Is that how you met? Or
Yeah, we met through Ice-T, because I went there just to do the vocals for Ice-T, and I saw this beautiful studio underground. It was like, it's in the desert, but it's built all underground, like a bunker, I thought that was cool. Just like, there's a cool vibe. Like, you stay all there, you arrive in the morning, and you stay all there. When you come out, it's at nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you don't even see the day. So it was a good vibe. Like Igor liked the studio a lot. It was very comfortable, and we just worked, man, non-stop. It was a full-on, a lot of work to make the record the way it is. But I think it's worth it because I think it's a good record now. Like with really good songs on it. And what I like about it also is kind of like it's a different kind of record. It doesn't have like hit songs like, a lot of the later Sepultura stuff like Roots Bloody Roots is a big hit song.
Yeah.
Refuse to Resist is a big song. Soulfly had Eye for an Eye.
Yeah.
Psychosis doesn't have that. There's not really one big song. It's just all together. It's more like Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is the same. There's not one big song in Schizophrenia. You can't pick one. It's even more different than Morbid Vision. Morbid Vision had Troops of Doom.
Yeah.
So it's like this record is really similar to Schizophrenia in that era. It's like no hit songs all together, but it's as a group of songs. It's really strong.
Yeah, and everyone would have a different favorite song.
Exactly.
Everyone loving that big one.
And that's what's cool about it.
And the cover, did you use Peter Sellai before?
Nah, first time. It was, there's a funny story. This is actually, it was from a picture. It was a picture from Haiti. It's a voodoo guy that looks like this guy. But the lady would not sell us the picture. I told him, like, can you do something with that picture? So he just drew the horns, made it real tribal.
Yeah, it's awesome. And all the, you've got loads of Leonardo da Vinci illustrations in there as well.
That was my idea. I always loved, there's a band in Brazil called Titans, and they made a record called Cabeça Dinossauro, Dinosaur Head, and the album has a lot of Da Vinci's illustration on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to Igor about it. It would be cool if in the inside we put a lot of those kind of similar images, like sketches of Da Vinci, because they look really cool. They're really psychotic looking, like a lot of faces and
twisted looking,
absurd facial expressions, you know. And there's even somewhere else in the album there's like a catapult, like a weapon, you know. So I thought it was cool, you know, like Igor liked it a lot, you know, and I think it's cool. I think it works. I mean, the cover is really tribal, but then the designs are all medieval.
Yeah,
the
but it
ancient
fits
style.
together perfectly.
I think it goes good together. Yeah,
I'd show you, but you have to go buy the album.
that's it.
And do you have much coming up with Soulfly at the moment?
I'm recording right now. Like I'm writing the riffs. Yeah, I'm writing the riffs, divided in 3 parts. So there's 3 different sounds on the record. You know, so it's really weird. But
And
I think it'll be cool. It's for next year.
and you're gonna have loads of guest appearances like you usually do.
Soulfly is almost like 2 most. You know, so I think we'll have 2.
Oh yeah.
You know, this one we had you know, Justin from Godflesh, which was, I'm a huge Godflesh fan.
Yeah.
So it was so cool to have him on the record. You know, it's like a dream come true for me. We'll have some guests for Soulfly, but I don't know who yet.
Yeah, you'll have to write the material and see who fits.
Yeah, see who'll be cool for it, and you know we have a lot of friends in the music business, so it won't be hard to get somebody
Yeah.
to sing for it. You know, people get excited for this kind of stuff. And I'm excited too because I get to work with my idols. You know, so it's great. Like, Justice is one of my idols, so it was cool to have him on this record.
Yeah, definitely. And I bet no one ever says no to work with you in the studio. Anyway.
A couple people, but
yeah?
it's not very often. Not very
Yeah.
often. Most people are stoked, and some people cannot do it because of schedules.
Yeah.
You know, like last Soulfly, Al from Ministry was supposed to do a song,
Okay.
and it was Sodomites, and he couldn't do it. He was
Touring.
scheduled, so I ended up using Todd from Nails. You know, it's
yeah,
really cool because I love Nails. This
Yeah,
is
they're
one of my favorite new bands. So, and Todd did a great job. So
And Killer Be Killed, is there anything in the works with that? That's kind of every.
it's taking a big hiatus break.
There's too many schedules to work out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm on tour. Troy's here right now somewhere in Europe. I think he's even in Germany. He
Oh,
might
yeah.
be around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Greg's finishing Dillinger Escape Plans, playing the last shows with Dillinger, you know. I hope we can make a second record because I think we can do a better second record than the first one.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, have a great rest of tour and thanks for talking to us, man. It's been great.
Appreciate it, brother.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
See you.